have you with.
It's time for another installment of Flashpoint. This week, Bridget Ellison talks with a local expert on safe baby sleeping.
Good morning, I'm Bridget Ellison. It's no secret babies need lots of sleep, but there's also the reality of sleep-related deaths. That's why one local program's working to get results and help guide parents in caring for their little ones. Joining us today on Flashpoint, Joy Chuba, Executive Director of Children's Advocacy Center, Osceola. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Bridget.
When it comes to baby sleep, how common are the sleep-related deaths, or SIDS? Is it always called SIDS, or do we have various types of sleep-related deaths?
There are actually various names. SIDS is one of them, and unfortunately 3,500 children die annually, and in Orange and Osceola counties, unsafe sleep practices are actually the second leading cause of infant fatalities. So many of these deaths are preventable, which is why it's so important to spread the word about safe sleep practices, and that's why Children's Advocacy Osceola is committed to sharing that education.
And so what are the proper sleep environments for babies?
Well, that's a really important question because there are a number of elements that contribute to a safe sleep environment. First of all, babies should be in a safety-approved crib that has a mattress and a tight-fitting sheet. Safe sleep practice includes not using toys, bumpers, pillows, blankets, or anything else in the crib with the baby. And co-sleeping or bed sharing isn't recommended, as it does increase the risk of infant mortality. And when we talk about bed sharing, it's not just with caregivers or parents, it's with pets, other children. And children should never be placed on non-approved sleep surfaces or an adult bed or a couch, because that can increase their risk of not only suffocating but also falling. Mm-hmm. It is recommended that infants sleep in their own crib or bassinet in the same room with the caregivers, though. And ideally, that happens until the age of 1, but at a minimum until the baby is 6 months old.
Mm-hmm. And what do first-time parents need to know about shopping for that all-important crib?
Yeah, so what they do need to know is they need to look for something that's safety approved. And also, they need to make sure that the slats of the crib are not too far apart. So one easy trick is take a Coke can, and if it fits between the slats are too far apart, and the baby's head could get stuck in between.
Wow, well, lots to know, lots to remember, especially on this Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
As well. Well, we'll be right back to talk with Joy a little bit more after the break about the ABCs of safe baby sleeping. Welcome back to Flashpoint. Today we're talking with Joy Chuba, Executive Director of Children's Advocacy Center, Osceola, about the ABCs of safe sleeping. So let's talk about the sleep position. What is the best position for putting the baby down to sleep? The
baby should always be put down on their back, whether it's to sleep at night or for naps. And Child Abuse Prevention Month is the month of April, and so we highlight the issues of ABC sleep. So it's a really simple steps to ensure safe sleep practices. So ABC stands for alone on your back in a crib, because unfortunately infant mortality is increased when we have unsafe sleep practices. So the American Academy of Pediatrics has a lot of information for caregivers and parents on safe sleep, and they are using the ABCs as part of their campaign to make a difference and keep children safe.
And what if the baby does roll over from back to tummy?
Good question. Once the baby can roll over on their own, then it's okay to leave them in that sleep position, but they should always be put down to sleep by the caregivers on their back.
Yeah, I know as a new mom, you're always staring at them to make sure they're still breathing. It's scary, but it's so important. So let's talk about bed sharing. Why is it not recommended for parents?
Well, it certainly does increase the risk of infant death. Could be from suffocation, could be falling off of a sleep surface. And so again, bed sharing or co-sleeping isn't recommended, and remember, that's other kids too, or pets. So the baby should have their own crib or bassinet, again, sharing in the same room as the caregivers.
What do you find that people are most surprised to hear about with this information?
Well, I think a lot of folks are in the general practice of sharing their bed with their baby. You know, a lot of times their caregivers have done that, and the American Pediatrics actually changes their recommendations based on the latest research and statistics, so it's really important to keep up to date, but the information does change.
And what about waking up during the night, trying to get them back to sleep? Let's talk about that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's recommended that an infant is in the same room with the caregivers in the evening, so parents can, rock their baby baby, feed their baby, and have them close by to soothe them, because parents want to do that and want it to be convenient, but we don't obviously want to increase the risk by co-sleeping. So in the same bedroom is recommended.
Now, why is it that it seems some babies are fussier at night than others?
Well, Bridget, just like you and I are different individuals with unique personalities, so are babies, right?
Yeah.
So they might respond differently. And that could be one of the reasons why some kids are more fussy than others. But if you notice, if parents are noticing that their baby is crying excessively or maybe have signs of a fever or colic, we recommend that they take them to the doctor to be checked out.
And what about preventing the baby from getting out of the crib, because that day is coming for any new parent at some point?
Exactly right. Well, again, you want to look for a crib that is safety rated for the age of your child, and you need to make sure that the crib is high enough so that a toddler can't climb out easily. And again, the slats. We want to make sure the slats aren't too far apart so that a child who might be trying to struggle out of the crib to go find a toy that they see that's fun doesn't get their head stuck in. So again, remember the Coke can. If a Coke can fits between the slats, then it's too far apart. The slats are too far apart.
Okay, and let's talk about another household safety issue, preventing falls with little ones.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned earlier is we don't want to place babies on a surface where they could fall, like a couch or a mattress or a high surface. So it always needs to be an appropriate place for the baby to put down to sleep, whether it's a nap or for the evening or just a rest in the afternoon.
All right, well, great advice. Joy, thank you so much for joining us here on Flashpoint today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes with more news and weather.